Hello guys, welcome back to Mr. Cloudbook channel.
Today is the day 18 of the Kubernetes masterclass.
And in the yesterday's video, we had talked about the deployments and how to do the edit commands and scale commands using the imperative way also. And in this video, we are going to talk about the Kubernetes namespaces. Kubernetes namespaces is the today's topic. So here, what I'll explain is what is namespace. So what is the use we will talk about. Okay. In the simple words, I will explain. So a namespace in a Kubernetes is a logical separation within the cluster and think of it as a virtual cluster inside your Kubernetes. Okay. So virtual cluster. Here we can call it as the namespace as the one of the virtual cluster and it helps to organize and isolates the resources like pods, services and deployment. Okay. So it will helps to isolate what we talked about it. So till now we talked about pods and next we talked about deployments. Deploy. Okay. In simple pods we talked about these. Okay. First of all, and but what it will do is namespace is completely isolate your deployments like pods and services and everything completely isolated into a new kind of a cluster. Okay. And why do we need the namespaces? So isolation. So because which needs to separate the development and staging and production environments. Okay. If anyone asks you why we need the particular namespaces, mean you can say that because first of all we need the isolation because it separates the development environment, testing environment, and production environments, which is important namespace concept also. And resource management. Okay, it apply resources quotas, limits and policies at the namespace level also. And third one, multi-tenancy allow multiple teams or the applications to share the same cluster securely. Okay, so what happens sometimes you use it the default namespaces for your production deployment and staging deployment. Okay, what happened, so I have the three pods. Okay, these are the three pods and these are the three pods for production and staging. Okay, so this is in the default namespace. Okay, this one and this one two and this one three. Okay, so these three are in the production namespace and these three one and this is two and this is three. So these three are also in the same namespace. Okay, so these both are in the same namespace here. Okay, that is default. Okay, what happened is the new member joined. Okay, he don't know which is production mission and which is staging mission. So what he will do is, so these are the production, right? Let's take it one more step here. So let's write this is P and these are staging ones. Okay, so I have these pods running on the production environment, I mean like within the same namespace. Okay, so what happened is you can think like this is a pod or deployment, anything fine because so deployments which holds everything like replica sets and pods, right? So within the same namespace only because the new guy he came and he deleted this one. Okay, so what happened is he deleted your production mission. Okay, production deployment he delete because he don't know because which is in the same deployment. Okay, so this is the service, you can think like this is service and this is some kind of config map like that. So this is the deployment, you can call it as anything. Okay, here, so what happened, that new guy deleted this particular deployment. What happened, your production server goes down. Okay, so again you need to run the deployment to make the apply up. Okay, so what happens, people will face the disruption like, see, there is no data, nothing that like that you get, he will get 404 error. Okay, sometimes. So within the same default namespaces, this is right. So we have in the same default namespace. That's why this has happened. Okay, so instead of deleting the staging ones, what he did, he deleted the production one, he deleted this one. Okay, so in order to not causing that particular same issues, we create the different namespace. Okay, this is one pod for me and these are all production pods. Okay, think like these three are production pods. So what I will do is I'll create one namespace with the production and I will put these three nodes into that particular namespace. And again, I will create three pods for testing. Okay. So I will create another namespace. I will put it into the staging. Okay. So now these two are separated. And if you try to delete this, okay, and if you try to use the command called kubectl, we use right kubectl like that. So it will delete directly. If you mention -n is equals to that namespace, okay. So if you mention the namespace, then only it will delete this particular pod or deployment, okay. If you want to deploy directly, it won't delete this particular pod, okay. So because these are in the separate namespaces now, okay. So which is very good one. Multi-tenancy is possible using the namespaces. Okay. So if you use the same namespace again and again, so sometimes what you will do, instead of deleting this your production or staging service, you may delete this. Okay, production service. Okay, that is the one way we may do issues mostly if you keep your all the resources in the default namespace. Okay, that's why we need to create a separate namespaces for this one. Okay, this one like staging and this one like the production one. Okay, so in that case what happens is we can delete this I mean like we can delete this one unnecessarily or unintentionally. Okay, so always this application is up. So if you are pod down, so what will do, deployment will take care and create the pods. Okay, so it will make sure all your application is up and running till you delete your deployment here. Okay, so this is the one. So remember that this is the deployment. If you delete this one, so it will automatically delete your pods. Okay, and in order to delete your specific namespace deployment, you have to mention the different command. Okay, so you need to write this command to delete the pod, I mean kubectl delete pod -n. So give the namespace name. Okay, here name of your namespace ns simple format and pod name. Okay, this is the way you have to delete. Okay, if you want to delete. Okay, so if you use the same default namespaces, okay, what happens here, so if you deleted kubectl delete pod and directly you can give the pod name. Okay, if you are using the default namespaces, which is not recommended here. Okay, so this is the wrong way doing this. Okay, because this will delete your pods which are in the default namespaces. Okay, so this is not recommended for your production based application. Okay, so instead of that, what you have to do is, so you have to create, so this one. Okay, so use this one. This is the best way you can do. Okay, create separate namespace your production deployments and create a separate for your staging deployments. Okay, so better to create different namespaces for your each application. This is S, I mean staging environment, this is pre production environment. So in that case you cannot delete your pods. Okay, so these are on good state. Okay, so till if you give like this, then only it will delete your pod. Okay, so this is the one, remember. So if you not given any default namespaces or not provided any namespace in your pod.yaml file, what will happen if you delete this one? Okay, if you use this one, so it will delete your pod or deployment directly without any issue. Okay, so it won't ask for your confirmation like that. Okay, so that's why better to create the namespaces in your resources. Okay, so isolation is definitely needed here. Okay, and multi-tenancy is also definitely needed because which will save the same cluster. Okay, here we have the same cluster, so this namespace, so and we have the by default how many it's created. So Kubernetes by default creates the 4 namespaces. Okay, so one is default one. So these are built in. Okay, these are built in. Let's go to the demo. So there I can show in detailed way. So let's see the running nodes or pods anything. Okay, so I have this one yesterday's deployment. What I will do is I will delete that kubectl get deploy. So kubectl delete deploy and my dep. Okay, so that is deleted, and kubectl get namespace. Okay, the command is this one, namespace. So the main namespaces here are this one, okay. So cube system and default and cube public and cube node lease, I think. So kubernetes.io. So let's search for the namespaces here, okay. So go to the namespace, and if you see here, initial namespaces, we have the default, cube node lease, cube public and cube system. And here, cube system, cube public and cube node lease and default. These are by default and built in the namespaces, okay. I added these remaining. So for my testing, and let's see again, okay. So we have the system, public and default and node list. These are the four namespaces, okay. So Kubernetes starts with initial namespaces. These are the four, and you can read it from here also. Namespaces are intended for use in environments with many users spread across multiple teams or projects, okay. For clusters within a few of tens of users, you should not need to create or think about the namespaces at all. Start using namespaces when you need the features they provide, okay. So but we need this one because this is the good one to use on your industry level or in the organization level, okay. We have this initial namespaces 4, and we can use this one, okay. If you use this one, kubectl will get namespaces like this, and you will get 4, okay. By default you will get these 4, okay. Default and cube node lease and cube public and cube system. And next, if you want to, let's see, okay, clear the screen. And why we need the namespace, I will use separate ones, okay. Default, okay. So this default namespace, okay. So whenever you create a simple pod, okay, kubectl run nginx hyphen image equals to nginx, okay. So what it will do, okay, hyphen dry run equals to client hyphen o ml, okay. In the ml format you can see it here. So by default we don't have any namespace here, okay. So if you in the metadata you can see the namespace, okay. For now it's not generating, so you can delete this one, okay. Dry run and client, that is also we can remove and enter. So what it will do, it will create a one pod, okay. So kubectl get pods, okay. So this is running, right? Let's copy this and describe, okay. Kubectl describe means it will show everything of your complete pod details and everything, okay. So this is the one we created, successfully assigned, pulled the image and created container and started container, okay. And if you go up here, and you can see that by default it uses the namespace default, okay. So this is the one we are using here, okay. So that's why this is built in, okay. So if you not specified any particular namespace, it will automatically use this default namespaces, okay. Clear the screen. And what have we have others, kubectl get namespace, we have this cube node lease, okay. And you can see that. So let's see kubectl get pods hyphen n, okay. So in order to see the pods in that particular namespace, you have to give this one command, okay. Kubectl get pods hyphen m hyphen n means namespace, or you can give the hyphen namespace like that, that is up to you. And give the namespace name, okay. Name of your namespace is cube node lease, enter. And you can see that there are no resources found here, okay. So you can ask here, so cube node lease namespace. So everything is here only. This namespace holds lease objects, okay, associated with each node. Like node leases allow the kubelets and heartbeats, so that can, okay, you can read so many things from here, okay. When this particular namespace is used here, okay, kubectl get nodes, because I have 3 control plane nodes here, okay. So what happens if one control plane is gets down, so this particular node lease will take care of the chance, and it will elect the another node, okay, another node as the main control plane, okay. So if this one is down, okay, if my one control plane is down, what it will do, it will use this one as the main master, okay. So meanwhile it will goes under backside, so and it will again make it up, Okay, it will always sends your heartbeats and your application things, everything here. You can see that heartbeats control plane can detect nodes. Okay, so and you can read more about here. Okay, so matching name and everything. So what is the next namespace we have? Public. Okay, so kubectl get namespace public. Okay, cube public. So we have two here, public, enter. And you can see that that is also there. And what I can do is I will use pods here. So kubectl get pods. Okay, hyphen namespace. So equals to, okay, enter. So nothing is provided here. Okay, kubectl get pods in the, let's see that one. Okay, cube public namespace. What it will do? So you have to everything see it here also. Okay. So what is the cube public namespace for? You can go into the Stack Overflow and you can see that that namespace exists in cluster created with the kubedium for now. It contains a single config map object, cluster info, and that aids discovery and security. Bootstrap basically contains the CA for the cluster and such as, okay, mainly cluster certificates and config maps and everything is under this particular cube public namespace. Okay, so if you want to know more about it, you can read it here. Okay, and finally we have the fourth namespace, that is this one. So cube system, which is pretty important. Okay, kubectl get pods hyphen n. So you can use this one also, cube hyphen system. Okay, every pod related to your Kubernetes master node and worker node will be provided here. Okay, you can see that. So AWS Cloud Control Manager, this is one pod, and Canal, this is a service. I mean, like the network based, we will use Core DNS, EBS, CSI node, and etcd. So these are all basically static pods, and we will talk about more in the next upcoming videos. And API server, these are all under stage of your kube system namespace. Okay, so why they put under that particular namespace? Okay, here see kubectl get pods. So I have this nginx. Okay, what I can do is I can delete this one. Okay, easily delete pod nginx. Okay, so this is deleted, right? But if you see kubectl get pods up arrow cube system. So if I want to delete this one, okay, let's say I want to delete this particular scheduler, I will copy that one and clear the screen. So kubectl delete pod, and I will give that particular scheduler name here directly. And you can see that error from the server not found, because in this particular default namespaces there is no particular pod. Okay, so that's why. So if you try to provide hyphen n cube system here, it will delete, okay, automatically. So I'm not deleting here by default, because which is important one. Okay, so cube scheduler for the other node. Okay, my control plane. And you can see any other names we can remove here, snapshot, kubeproxy. So let's try to remove this one, kubeproxy. Okay, so kubectl delete pod hyphen n. So you have to provide the namespace here. Okay, in order to delete that one. Okay, let's try to delete again. Okay, without namespace, and you can see that it's not found because this is not available in the default namespace. So and if you try to provide cube hyphen system here, okay, and you can see that now it's able to delete. Okay, so because this is in this separate namespace. Okay, this is in a separate virtual cluster that is in your actual Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so this is the main uses for your namespace. Okay, so we're not able to delete your production pods automatically without providing the particular namespaces. So this is the best choice you have to ever use for your Kubernetes cluster, because so try to create the production namespace and deploy all your production deployment services and everything under that particular namespace, and create the staging environment or staging namespace, deploy the staging environment pods and deployment, everything under that particular namespace. Okay, so whenever someone wants to delete something, he needs to provide the hyphen n staging like that. So then only it will delete the staging pods. Okay, staging deployments. Okay, so if you don't provide any namespaces means it will automatically delete your, I mean, someone who don't knows, like who newly joined guy, doesn't know which is the production one and everything, so he can delete that particular pod easily. Okay, so that is the one of the bad case happens. Okay, here. So you can use this one. You can see that hyphen hyphen namespace. Okay. Last time I used this command, right? Kubectl run nginx hyphen hyphen image equals to nginx. Okay. So hyphen n. So I want to run in one namespace. Okay. You can give hyphen n also. Like I want in the dev namespace. So do you think it will run? Let's see. And you can see that it's not able to run this one because there is no namespace available on this particular dev. Okay, so first of all we need to create a namespace. Okay, okay, let's try to create that one. Okay, kubectl create namespace, and we'll try to use hyphen hyphen help here. Okay, so most of the things you can use it from here also. You can see that kubectl create namespace, and you can give any name. Click the screen, and I will use this one. I want dev hyphen hyphen dry run equals to client. Okay, hyphen o YAML format I need. Okay, this is the simple name format for your YAML. Okay, so spec and status are not needed for your simple YAML. I mean like namespace YAML. Like, and you can see that here. Let's create one more directory. So day 17, and let's create one file. So ns.yaml. So simple namespace, and the first one is API version. Okay, and the kind metadata. So these are all mandatory. Okay, for your creating the simple YAML file in your Kubernetes. Okay, and let's clear the screen. Okay, here kubectl explain namespace. Okay, so this is v1. Okay, put v1 here, and sorry, so kind, which is a namespace. Okay, metadata. Okay, you can see that. So API version metadata like that. So that is up to you. Okay, so all you have to give is this one. Okay, so go here inside and give name. So I want the dev namespace. Okay, so I'll just save it. Okay, copy it, and here just provide like this. Okay, close it in the simple format. Okay, so copy it, and I will do mkdir namespace and cdns. Okay, clear the screen. Va ns.yaml. I'll paste it and come out of it. Kubectl apply hyphen f ns.yaml. Okay, enter. And you can see that namespace dev is created. Okay, simple namespace. This is how you can create. Okay, let's get the namespaces, all namespaces. Okay, kubectl get ns is the simple short form for the namespace, or you can use this one also. Okay, namespaces, and you can see that dev is created now 17 seconds ago, active. Okay, so you can see here I'm just giving the short form also ns, and both will work fine. Okay, and let's try to run the new pod in that one. Okay, nginx hyphen hyphen image equals to nginx. Okay, hyphen n, and what is the namespace dev. Enter, and you can see that pod nginx is created. Let's try to see the pods now. We created the pod here, right? But we're not able to see here, right? If you give this one kubectl get pods, okay, hyphen capital A all. Okay, and you can see that it will give every pod within that particular namespace. Okay, cube system is the namespace mainly used. Okay, this is by default will get. Okay, we will get, and this is the dev namespace. Okay, here my pod is there. Okay, and you can see that it's running 22 seconds ago. Okay, how I can see without all in the mixed. I mean like it's mixed, right? See here it's mixed in this pods list. Okay, so if I want to see only that pod, okay, kubectl get pods hyphen n and give the namespace name. Okay, hyphen n dev. So it will give the that pod directly. So what are the pods running under this particular dev namespace? We can see it here. Okay, so let's try to delete this one. Okay, kubectl delete pod. Okay, and give this name, and it's not found because This is running under the dev namespace. Okay. In order to delete it, you have to give -n dev. Okay. And you can say that now it's deleted. Okay. And if you try to get the pods again, and we don't have anything. Okay. So this is the use how to delete your pods within the namespace. In the simple command, you don't need to write the YAML also. Okay. So you can just use this one kubectl create ns. Okay. You can directly give dev or production. Okay. Production. So it will create one more namespace production. So you don't need to write the simple YAML file. So this is the simple command to create the namespace. Okay. Then let's see kubectl get ns, and you can see here 12 seconds ago production namespace is created. So let's try to run. Okay. kubectl run nginx hyphen image equals to nginx hyphen n dev. Okay. So I will use production, and you can see that two pods are created. So one is in the nginx, I mean dev namespace, one is in the production namespace. Okay. So let's get pods. Okay. Get pods hyphen n dev. Let's try to use do, and you can see that no resources found in dev and production namespace here. Okay. Let's try to use one, and you can see that. So with single, I mean like single pod, I mean like so with the single namespace it's working. Okay. And if you try to see production, this is running fine. Okay. So if you want to delete your namespace, I mean if you want to delete your pod in the dev environment, you have to give this command kubectl delete pod, this one hyphen n, and you have to give the dev. Okay. So what it will do, it will delete the pod in the dev namespace. Okay. And you can see here, so no resource found. Okay. So this is how you have to use the production. I mean like this is the simple one. Okay. This is how you have to create a namespace and attach a namespace to your pod. I mean like, see, you don't see the pod YAML, right? Directly we are giving this one. Okay. kubectl run nginx hyphen image nginx prod, like that you can use this one. Okay. Dry run equals to client hyphen o YAML, and you can see that. Okay. It will use this one. Okay. So if you want to write a simple YAML file, okay, for your pod hyphen ns.yaml. Okay. So let's write simple pod.yaml here. So API version, everyone know v1, kind is pod, metadata. So what I will do is here I will use simple, okay, bg box, and here we have to provide the namespace. Okay. Namespace and production and spec. So inside the spec we have the containers. Okay. Container hyphen image, you can use anything. Okay. Let's use the simple one, which is the better one. Okay. Nginx is the only one we can use for now. So name is nginx. Okay. So this is the simple pod.yaml. Okay. Let me copy it, and I will come here va pod.yaml, paste it. Okay. Save it. kubectl apply hyphen f pod.yaml. Okay. There is an issue version not set. If you choose ignore these errors. Okay. Validate false. Let's see. So this is the correct, right? We are using v1, that is correct. Metadata is also correct. The name here, it should be in the format. Copy it again. So a pod.yaml. Let's delete v1, that is correct. Come out of it and try to apply again. So error validating data API version not set. So we are using v1, right? This is wrong. Okay, let's see. kubectl explain pod. So v1, that is correct, and kind is also pod, right? API version. Okay, here is the issue. So spelling mistake. Clear the screen. vipod.yml version sion. Okay, I was using ison. Okay, here. Okay, now let's try to apply. Okay, clear the screen. Sorry, see here kubectl apply pod.yml. Okay, it's created. You can see that. Let's try to see the pods. kubectl get pods. So no response because I created this in the production environment, and you can see that busy box. Okay, 9 seconds. So this is the one way to use. Okay, so let's try to copy this one. Okay, so I'm using this deployment here. Let's save it here also. So deploy -ns dot yaml. So how to use deployment is also same. All you have to do is add here. Okay, in the metadata format, I mean like in that particular this area in the metadata field under name, or you can write on the top also. Okay, here also you can write. Okay, namespace like that. Okay, that is up to you, and you can directly give dev. Okay, so copy it and vi d-ns.yaml, and this is a simple, I mean deployment.yaml file. Okay, I'm using, I just added the a namespace, that's it, not much. Okay, apply -f, sorry, -f d-ns.yaml. Okay, invalid nginx deploy. Yeah, this is because this one. So use small. Okay, last time also I forgot to update. Okay, let's edit here. So name should be small letters. Okay, here. So that is the issue. And you can easily see it from here. The deployment nginx deploy is invalid. Metadata name invalid. Okay. So a lowercase is used, should be used. Okay. Let's try to apply again. And you can see that nginx deployment is created. Let's see kubectl get deploy. So no deploys are found again, and you can use -a, and you can see that so many again so many deployments are coming, right? So but my deployment is here. Nginx deploy is created 12 seconds ago, right? So if in order to get that one, you have to use again and in the namespace dev. So this is the nginx deploy because I created the deployment in the dev namespace. Okay. So kubectl get pods, you have to provide -dev. Okay, so in order to see your this deployment pods. Okay, so this is the way to create the simple namespace. In order to delete, you can use this one. Okay, kubectl delete namespace dev, and you can see that namespace dev is deleted. Okay, it's taking some time because of it's running these pods right on that particular namespace. Okay, so that is for this video. So easily to understand, right? Like so you can see that kubectl get pods -hyphen namespace. So in short form, you can give -n also, and you can see this one also set config and everything. We will talk in the upcoming videos, and namespace and DNS also. I will explain once services class is done because we need to understand the services first. Then only we will talk about this one. Okay, namespaces and DNS. Okay. And thanks for watching the video and keep on supporting to Mr. Cloudbook channel.